Robert Earl, we're here with session 5 of Ignite. We're going to start in the section Generate Your Leads. And in this section, we're going to talk about a little reviewing your 6 core competencies and seeing how lead generation fits into that. We're going to talk about some of the lead generation fear and myths that are going on and what's going to be going on in your head. Your sphere of influence. We're going to talk about an income opportunity with that group. Then we're going to break down some of the lead generation models, talking about the difference between prospecting and marketing, relationship management, the types of communication that you can have, and then really do a deep dive into your sphere of influence. So let's go ahead and get started with this. So here we are, session 5 of Ignite. I'm your host, facilitator, coach from afar, productivity coach Robert Earl, and I'm here to assist you and walk you through the steps of Ignite. So let's take a look at this. Obviously, any communications that we're going to make, we're always going to remind you about TCPA, the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, your do not call list. Check with your local office for all of the details on that. So we went through the first phase of becoming a real estate expert. This was your first 4 sessions. We now move into lead generation. That will lead us to lead follow-up and then actually doing transactions. So this is another key component, a key building block to what we're trying to accomplish of getting your career launched or relaunched. So this is where it fits into this. We're going to generate leads, grow your database, capture leads through one of the sources that you can meet new people. Then we're going to talk about social media and capturing more leads. But in this particular segment right now, we're going to be really focused on generating your leads that come in. So let's jump into the agenda then that we have laid out. We're going to talk about you being the lead generator. A lot of folks get into real estate and they think, for whatever reason, maybe it's the HGTV effect, that the buyers are just magically going to show up, that you're magically working with buyers. There's also a perception in the marketplace that buyers and sellers just come walking into real estate offices. And unless you're in a resort area, unless you're in an area that has one of those storefronts that's right where people are walking. And even then, are you really getting buyers and sellers, or are you getting looky-loos and tire kickers that are coming through? So the lead generation aspect is up to you. So when we talk about that, then we're going to go into the lead generation models, your sphere of influence, how to expand that, the best practices, and then we'll go into some recaps, ahas, and talk about your success system. So you as the lead generator, we're going to talk about generating business from the people you know and those that know you. We're going to also start to identify your sphere of influence and calculate some potential income opportunities from that group. The path is in the math. We're going to categorize your sphere of influence so that you can start focusing on particular areas and expand your reach, and then look at some of the best practices that are involved with this. So let's dive into, and something that Gary Keller says as a quote is, "My fear of failure was greater than my fear of lead generating." So what does this mean to you? How do you take that? When I start talking about you building a sphere of influence, do you have a mindset that says, I don't want to bother these people. I don't want to be perceived as begging for business. I've heard that over the course of my years. So there's a fear that comes around doing lead generation. Yet in the 6 core competencies, we know that lead generation for a real estate agent is job number 1. So this is what keeps us from failing. And instead, we have to prosper, and we only prosper by being able to help people. In real estate, you never stop lead generating for the rest of your career and your business time in real estate. Is your fear of failure greater than your fear of lead generation? That's an answer that you have to give. Because if we go back and look at the 6 core competencies, it all starts with lead generation, capturing and converting to appointments. We can't do presentations to buyers and sellers and get any sort of agreement for them to work with us unless we have somebody to present to. We could look at properties all day long, and we could go on the MLS and do searches. Yet, if we don't have somebody to do the search for, are we really in business? And of course, no contracts to write, no closings, and no money to manage. It all starts here with lead generation. So let's broaden that term a little bit. Lead generation is talking to people. And it's talking to people and having the conversation, be open to them talking about, you talking about buying and selling real estate. And these are conversations that you need to be having with people on a daily basis. Through these conversations, we capture accurate contact information. This includes their name, their phone number, their email address, their home address, any other information that the individual is willing to give to you or that you draw out of them by powerful questions that you ask. And then converting those leads to appointments, actually offering to sit down with them in a formal or semi-formal manner to be able to present to them your value proposition as to why they should work with you as an active buyer or seller. That would be the appointments to meet, the agreement to work together, and to go through the different steps. So there are some fears and myths that come up at this particular time. And instead of just ignoring them, we're going to take them head on. We're going to really try to dive into these. It's understandable that there will be fear about lead generating. Step number 1, unless you came from a sales background, this may be new to you. So there's a fear around it and you haven't gone through this. But let's be honest with ourselves. Who is having any of these thoughts when we dig into lead generation? Are you saying that I think that lead generation is really difficult? In your mind, are you saying I don't have time to lead generate? If you are a dual career, if you are working a full-time job, this is an area that the only way you're going to be able to overcome this fear is to schedule the time, and to borrow a phrase from Phil Knight and a company called Nike, just do it. I don't know what to say. We've already given you some frameworks with the Ford process. That's something that you can practice, and we've already shown in the previous sessions that doing that and practicing that and using it with dialogues with individuals, they'll be willing to discuss with you and share information. And I'm afraid of making mistakes. And I want to insert something here. As of right now, this moment that you watch this, if you're brand new in real estate, you may have 1 or 2 people that have expressed to you that they want to buy real estate. But that's just for a second for the purpose of what I'm discussing. Let's say that you have 0. And you talk to 10 people today, and at the end of the day, after talking with them, you still have 0 people that are looking to buy or sell real estate. What did you lose? Did you make any mistakes from that standpoint? You're still where you were at. You started with 0, you ended with 0. And you learned by taking action, conversations. You would learn things to say, not say the next time that you're faced with a situation. And if you follow the format, say the Ford format, or just making the contact and the connection and coming from contribution, you are in a standpoint where you have deepened or built that relationship so that you're one step closer to them deciding to meet with you and work with you as a buyer and seller. Get out of your own way. There's not mistakes that you're going to make that will go through these and really resonate. So if you think lead generation is really difficult, I was confusing effort with enjoyment. Lead generation is actually easy. It's actually fun to be able to talk with people and to be able to help them. You have to protect your time. There's a path of mastery that we talked about in the 6 personal perspectives that you're learning based, and that the dialogues that you're using are tools that you'll have to learn over the course of your business. And lead generation is nothing more than a set of tasks and skills that are well documented that you take the time to actually implement and put in place. See, lead generation is the number one key to being successful in real estate. It doesn't matter how great you are at actually selling a home or showing people the homes or identifying the type of countertops or paint colors or the design of a particular property. It doesn't matter how great you are at those aspects. If no one knows you're in business of selling homes and they don't feel connected to you in a way that has them reach out to you when they're ready to sell or ready to buy, then you're not in real estate. Now, I've got great news for you. You already have 2 key components to lead generation: a sphere of influence and, as we talked about with your KW command, a database. So a sphere of influence, let's give a definition for that. A sphere of influence, or an SOI. It is a group of people you know and who know you. This is a group of people you know, like, and trust, and therefore they are people most likely to do business with you. And we talk about this chart that's here, is that there are some folks that you would picture as being in your inner circle. There's other folks that know of you. There's other folks that know about you. When we have conversations with these individuals, when we care about them, we have an opportunity to move them from the outer circles to the inner circles. The MREA book does a great job of describing this, from those that we have never met to those that we have met to those that are allied resources within our circle. So we're going to use this as a bit of an example and talk about some of the math that could be involved in going through. Now, there is no such thing as a typical or fixed commission. We are using this just to have a placeholder. All commissions are negotiable between buyers, sellers, and their agents. So this is just for the sake of doing math. There, we got the big asterisk and caveat out of there. So I want you to get your phone out and go to your contacts. And then if you scroll through your contacts, what is the total number of contacts that you have? Write this down in your participant guide. In the case that we're using here, we find most individuals, when they really take the time to go through and look at what contacts they truly have, not just in this area, but other areas, because remember, you can refer people to other agents around the country. They usually are in the range of 100 to 250. Now, according to the National Association of Realtors, the typical person moves every 7 to 10 years. Let's use this as 8 years in which they're going through. If you take a look at the 2020 census, home ownership rate was about 64%. And so if we assume that 64% of your database is homeowners and they're going to move every 8 years, that means about 8.1% of your database will buy or sell a home every year within that 8 years. Now, if you have to pause this and take time and listen to that again and go back through the math, that's fine. Go ahead and do so because the path is in the math. If you're an analytical type that needs to understand this, this will help you because it also will show you that the more people that you add to your contacts, the more potential people that you have that will be buying or selling a home over the next 7 to 10 years. And the number of people that will work with you will increase as well when you stay in contact with them. So if we use these numbers to figure out how many people you already know that are going to buy or sell this year, you multiply the number of contacts in your database by 0.081 and you get the results in line B. Now, we're just rounded down for the conversion to be conservative for this. In the example, if you know 250 people, it's likely 20 of them are going to be looking to make a move within the course of the year. Now, if we assume that the people in your sphere of influence, 10% of them are also going to refer somebody else to you, somebody at work, somebody that they know, and we add this group onto it as again, then we're looking at line C. So our total number of potential referrals we could get out of our database, the 250 times 10% would be 25. Now we have a potential of 45 individuals that we could do business with or that would do business with us. If we take the 45 people, potential buyers and sellers, and we multiply that by a commission rate, a commission fee. Again, this is negotiable. Check with your team leader, check with your office, check with other agents what the average has been in the area. Yet there's no set amount. This is negotiable. For the purposes of this conversation, we would be talking about $5,000. That $5,000 times 45. That gives us an income opportunity out of 250 people in your database of $225,000. I want you to write in the comments, Robert, I would take 250. I'll take it all day long. And you're exactly correct. I don't know of many people that wouldn't take that as a particular. Now, are you going to get all of that in day one? Are all 250 people going to start giving you referrals or picking you to be the one that they work with? No, this shows us the potential. This shows us where we could go to. The purpose of doing lead generation is starting to plant the seeds so that you're the one that they pick and you have the potential of getting that income versus another agent. So within your database and when the lead generation model that we're talking about, you have people that are in your phone. You have a contact list. This is your database. Your social media is another potential database. If we're going to be in relationship with our contacts in a professional sense, we need to have them organized and accessible in a smart database, or you heard me use the term data bank. Your phone may be smart, it may be a smartphone, but unlike a database, you cannot store additional information or track your contacts. So we're going to touch on a bit of feeding your database. In the next session, we will start to talk about, so in session 6, how to make your database even smarter. You have a sphere of influence, a database, and you've been generating leads in that database by communicating with it, by doing your daily success system and starting to make those contacts. So let's pause for a little bit. Let's look at any ahas that you have from this. Did the math maybe help some of you that are more analytical in nature and looking at that and saying, you know what, I could really see how this path could work for me. Even if I only got half of that, even if I only got a quarter of that, that would be a worthwhile investment of my time to build these particular relationships. You know, I didn't think of storing my information in a different location than my phone and having it in a place that I could actually make it smart. You know the drill. Put it in the comments. Send me a message. Let me know what your particular ahas are about this section that we've already covered and that we've already gone through. So let's move on and talk about the lead generation model. You'll hear this over and over again throughout your career, and it's really the most important activity that you're going to do. The first thing you need to know to start your real estate business, and the last thing you will ever give up doing yourself if you decide to build a team and leverage out your business to the point where you're no longer involved with it on a day-to-day basis, is lead generation. You're still going to be involved with it. Think about that. What we're learning today is the foundation for a million or multi-million-dollar business as outlined in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent model. This is also why your time each day, even as a part-time dual career agent, is very, very key that you spend time on this. This is the key to unlock the transition from being part-time to full-time to getting a fixed income as you currently are as an hourly rate or salary to moving to unlimited income potentials with real estate. It is incorporating your daily success system and lead generation on a day in, day out basis. Let's go to your lead generation model that you find in your participant guide. See, Keller Williams has a model that is a step-by-step visual for you to be able to see how to work with people and what your database actually represents. Step one, we are going through and we're doing lead capture. This lead capture is the prospecting and marketing that we do. It's simply getting people into your database with the information. At the top of the model, you'll see these details that you can do with your prospecting and marketing. These are the lead generation activities that you actually take, and they need to go into a database. This is the model that we've found. You can't just put them on little slips of paper in different locations or collect their business cards or go, who was that person? Where were they at? It's actually being purposeful about capturing their information and putting it into the database. So when we talk about prospecting and marketing, we're going to become prospecting based and marketing enhanced. Why do we look at prospecting first and being based in that way? It is the best practice to generate leads. It is proactive. Let me repeat that. It is a proactive approach. It allows you to take control of your business because you're the one actively searching and building relationships with individuals. Other benefits to a prospecting-based system, it's low cost or no cost, just the time that's involved with it. It yields a quantity of leads, which in turn gives you quality leads. You're not just getting them from wherever or somebody that's filled out a form on Zillow. You're truly establishing a personal relationship with these individuals. And it keeps you in direct contact with what's going on in the market of the moment. We talked about knowing your market is listening to what's going on, having your communications versus it just being something that is a billboard. A billboard's not going to tell you what's going on in the marketplace. An online ad is not going to tell you as clearly as you having conversations. And these conversations will help increase your confidence and skills. The more people you talk with, the more comfortable it will get, the more that you will go through this process. With marketing, you're putting your information out there to try to attract leads. Sources like social media, print ads, radio ads, promotional materials, handing out business cards. We'll talk about that some more in a future session, but right now I want you to think about prospecting giving you immediate results, being proactive, not passive, and being time intensive. The market, your preference, your budget, and your goals will dictate the type of lead generation that you employ. Top agents track their most productive lead sources, and they usually are the sphere of influence, repeat business, referrals, and offline advertising. Notice how many of those are communications that they're having with their database. No single approach or method will bring you all of your leads. Remember the 80-20 principle. You're going to find the activities, the 20%, the critical 20 that gives you the masses of 80% of your results. A blended approach does work best, but right now, from a cost standpoint, we want you to focus on the prospecting basis here. We know that this is a successful manner of lead generation. Prospecting is also less expensive. Prospecting is what protects your business when the market slows down as well. Even more specifically, we will focus on prospecting with your sphere of influence. So let's go back to the database model and look at this in the lead generation. Now we have your database, and this is your container, your data bank that holds the information of your contacts. The smart database allows you to have planned, purposeful, remember the E to P concept that we covered in one of the early sessions. This allows you to have meaningful communications with your database, that these individuals that you form relationships with, you strengthen the relationships, and then we cultivate those for conversion for them to have interactions, appointments, and for you to be able to work with them on their specific needs. So a lead, these are people that have earned the right to have at least one-way conversation with, and contacts are people that you've held a two-way conversation with, of whom you've established a value-based. I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to split a lot of hairs as a bald guy as to these types of things, as to what's the difference between a lead and a contact. Know that they are potential individuals that you can carry on and have conversations with. Another set of terms that you could potentially use is that there are a lot of suspects, there are a lot of prospects, there are a lot of contacts, and when they get ready to actually buy or sell a home, they could be then defined as being a lead, as somebody that you want to follow up more frequently than an individual that you just stay in regular contact with. So once you have a lead, you need to create a relationship with that person. Once you have that contact information, you want to sustain and strengthen that relationship that you have through that relationship management. This is just the introduction to what sustaining relationships look like. There's a whole section on lead follow-up later in Ignite. For now, we want to have a place where we're putting them in and focus on providing value and having good, powerful conversations and information that we share with these information. We have different types of communication that we can do, all that needs to be done in a TCPA compliant manner. But we have phone calls, we have emails, we have text messages and direct messages, we have face-to-face communications. We can have our KW app that they work with and be able to interact with us there. And then we have handwritten and the notes that we have from communication. I've also touched upon that some of these have more impact than others. A quick text message is not going to have as much impact as a full email, and a phone call is going to have even more impact. Face-to-face communications, handwritten notes, those are going to even be higher up on the contact food chain, shall we say. One way to consistently and systematically reach out to your database is through automated touches. With Command, you have the opportunity to create smart plans, and these smart plans can either do the emails and text messages for you in an automated manner, or they will give you tasks and reminders to do the text messages, the handwritten notes, or the phone calls directly. It's a powerful tool to help you with your relationship management and your different types of communication. That final piece of the data bank that we're building is the client and referral loop, that not only do these individuals give you business themselves, they also are providing you with referrals. And if you see there's a little gray arrow, it's very difficult to see, but we take those referrals, they go back up. They are contacts that we put into our database. We build relationship with those, and we work with them and continue to follow up with them time over time, or as Gary Keller says, time on task over time will allow us to power this and be able to go through. So let's take a moment, put this all together. We have our lead generation, our contact system, where we first get in contact with individuals, we capture their information. Then we go through a process of relationship management. Robert, how long does that take? That could take a matter of days. That could take a matter of years if somebody buys once every 7 to 10 years. We don't know where they're at in their process. We also don't know what life events are going to come up for them to decide, we got a new job, we need to move to another location, we need to be closer to our parents, we need to upsize, downsize, right size, we just won the lottery. You get the point as to what they would go through. Lead generation never ends. It is proactive approach that you need to take. It's best when it's time blocked, especially if you are dual career, part-time, trying to make the transition. Your days off are no longer your days off. Your evenings are no longer your evenings. They are lead generation opportunities. This will determine the size of your business. Real estate, as Dave Jenks told me many, many times, co-author of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, real estate is an equal opportunity, unequal reward business. That unequal reward comes from the opportunities that you take to be able to do lead generation. It's aha time. agents helping agents, or you coming up with an idea that you have of saying, you know what, I never thought of the database being a system that way. I never thought of it being this type of engine that I was building to work. Some of you might have been exposed to funnels, and a funnel tries to get somebody down, yet the key or one of the lacking items of a funnel is that messy middle where you're building relationships, and that goes on for a daily, weekly, monthly, and in some cases yearly basis of you staying in contact until they actually have a lead. Some funnel systems are so focused on get them through as quick as they can to try to get them to close. Real estate's not really that way. It is a relationship-based business, not a transaction-based business. Make notes, make your ahas, put them down in your student guide that you have, your resource guide, drop them in the comments, send me a message, and I'll quench my thirst and we'll move on to the next session. All right, there you go. You had an opportunity to do some of your ahas, and now we're going to get into the SOI section, our sphere of influence. So if we look at our sphere of influence, let's define this a little bit more, because your sphere of influence are strictly the people in your neighborhood. I'm dating myself a little bit there. But the sphere of influence are people in your life that you influence and who influence you. These could be close relationships like your close friends, family, or more distant connections. Your child's friend's parents, a former coworker, a neighbor, your mom's friend from college. It's important to connect with your current sphere of influence, your SOI, systematically, efficiently, and effectively. We're going to get into that a lot over the rest of Ignite. In order to get the most out of the follow-up, you want to get the most people into your data bank, into your sphere. So let's categorize the sphere of influence. Let's look at this and give you some reminders that will potentially help you to go through. This could be used as a memory jogger exercise to take your resource guide. Your resource guide will provide you with 15 different sections. You see 13 on the board, yet go through these, take an opportunity and start listing out who are the individuals that are in my immediate family. Do I have contact information for them? We're not like my grandmother was with her little notebook that she had all of the individuals' names and phone numbers and addresses and information that would allow her to send out birthday cards, that would allow her to send out her holiday cards. We've kind of slipped on that. Well, maybe I should speak for myself. I don't keep it as clear as she does, not in that written form. It is in my database and my data bank, and I've had to purposefully build that over the course of the years. So some of these are pretty straightforward. Your hobby, your sports groups, worship club, volunteers, those types of things. When we get into professional services, who's your dog groomer? Who is potentially doctors, therapists, attorneys, accountants, bank tellers in the financial services, personal services, the individuals at the salon, the individuals who cut your hair. I need to maybe drop into a barbershop just for the sake of getting to know some people. I kid. And babysitters, trainers, home services, landscapers, painters, car detailers, and then other services. We also see that we've put real estate agents, and I think I've touched upon this in this segment, a session. If you live in an area where people are moving from other areas to your area, having relationship with real estate agents. I do know I also talked about the real estate agents that are one town over from you so that you could do referrals out to them, and by building relationships, they would feel more comfortable and confident sending people to you. So as we think about these 15 categories, I'm going to go back through and give this here. If we were in a classroom, we would take about 5 minutes right now, and just as quick as you possibly could. You don't need all of their contact information down. As quick as you could, though, use this information as triggers and start writing down. Write down who you know. Okay, well, what about Fred? What about at the salon, Sally? I don't remember her last name. I think I have her phone number somewhere. Maybe put a number sign next to it so that it'll prompt you to go through the information and start to build your contacts. I would also say that you've done this once in this setting. Go back through this once a day for about the next 7 days. Get this list out, and you will start to think about and come across some people in these areas. Also, this provides you a roadmap of who to target to start to build the relationships. See, this is where we're going to work on building your sphere of influence day by day by day. So I'm going to key you in on something. This has nothing to do with Ignite. You're not going to find it anywhere in the materials. Yet I know, even in the current role that I'm in as a team leader, as a coach, every single day, I used to have it actually written in a dry erase marker on my mirror. As I would shave or get ready in the morning, I would see this. And I would ask myself 2 questions every morning and every evening. And the 2 questions that I would ask myself was who knew and who knew. Now, you're listening to this and you're saying, Robert, my goodness, you sound like a fortune cookie. Let me explain a little bit further what I'm talking about. The first question that I would ask every single day is who knew N-E-W. Who knew am I meeting? Am I going through this list up here and saying, am I going to meet somebody with a professional service? Am I going to meet a financial or legal service? Am I going to meet a neighbor? Am I going to be purposeful about a hobby or sports group? If I play golf, am I going to play golf with somebody different than, or pickleball with somebody different and actually get their information? Who knew? N-E-W. Then the second part that I always would ask myself is who knew? K-N-E-W. Who knew that I was still in real estate and that I still was able to assist them? That's the follow-up and the relationships. I can't just meet somebody one time. I have to be able to go through and look at this list and continue to build my sphere of influence every single day. Stop pumping gas at the pumps. Go in and actually talk to the clerks. Don't do self-checkout. Actually talk to individuals. This is something that you can do of wearing your name badge so that you are not a secret agent, because remember our Pirates of the Caribbean statement, secret agents don't cash checks. So you've identified the activities and the people that you interacted with on a daily basis, and think about what you did yesterday or the day before. Now I want you to think about those interactions. Could you have deepened your relationship with these people? Could you have smiled at your neighbor and said, hey, I know each other each day. We see each other, but we don't really know each other. I'm Robert Earl, and I am a real estate professional, and I would love to find out more about you. Tell me more about yourself, your family. What type of work do you do? When you're not here in the neighborhood, what type of recreation activities, hobbies do you have? And how did you happen to pick this area? Or if you could live anywhere, where would it be? Listen there, I just went through Ford. You see, these interactions that you make, it could be a way for you to start to change the way you think about your days and then implement this who knew approach. Are you just running errands? You're meeting potential buyers and sellers while you are just strictly running errands. You're not just ordering coffee. You have the opportunity to create a relationship with the people on the other end of the transaction. And because of that relationship, you may be poised to help them on the day that they are ready to buy or sell. Your job is to meet and connect with people. If you think about it, that's pretty amazing that you have the opportunity to do this. So in this next activity, you will be having a discussion with your partner. I want you to do this and make note of it, to go over your daily activities and to have a discussion about what's working for them. What are some tips and techniques that they're doing, yet you know when you stop and really are conscious about it and think about it, that there are things that you can do. This falls right into line with a particular bold law. And the bold law is change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. If we look at our daily activities and our interactions different, then we are able to see things in a different manner. BOLD stands for Business Objectives of Life by Design, and our new Onward BOLD was written by Gary Keller. BOLD helps you shift your mindset using BOLD laws. This is one of those laws. Change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. When you've gone through the 15 categories and we use some examples, did this change the way you looked at the individuals that you're working with or that you have in your life or you potentially could have in your life? Being a successful agent is about finding more people to help and serve in buying or selling homes. When you change how you look at the world, you will find more of those people that you can help. That should give you a huge aha. So let's talk about some of the best practices or expanding your sphere of influence and how you can go through this. You can add more personal information to your sphere of influence. You see, we've talked about getting a phone number, an email address, a physical address, because they do have homes to sell. We want to be able to get in contact with them then. Potentially, we would look at more information about work address. Also, as the photo indicates, special events and occasions that occur within their life give us excuses to be able to reach out. The excuse of what I'm talking about. Think about this contact. Hey, Fred, just wanted to give you a call and wish you a happy birthday. Fantastic. Hope you have a great day. We need to connect soon. I'll let you get back to your fantastic day. That's an easier call. That makes an impact. Then I can call back in a week or two. How was your birthday? Did you do anything fun? We need to catch up soon. Why don't we grab a cup of coffee soon? If somebody were to reach out to me and ask me about IndyCar races, did you see the race last weekend? That type of information, they would make a contact with me that would be powerful, and they would move up the food chain as to people that I would be most likely to do business with. So gathering this personal information, then giving them a card, giving them a shout out, reaching out on social media directly, shoot them a text, or the successful agents actually do all of these things. Now, one of the ways to expand your sphere of influence is to just ask. It's the same with other personal information. Knowing that they love to crochet, they love IndyCar racing, they love horses, whatever it may be. This allows you to be on the lookout. You might share an article with them. You might see something that you thought about. Well, you might also know that they are a homeowner or a renter. And this would give you an opportunity to share market information with them. You might see a report that talks about how the net worth of homeowners is greater than the net worth of renters, with a little line that would say, "I'd love to help you." Another way for you to be able to get the information or to expand your sphere of influence is asking them. If your neighborhood's complaining about low water pressure, ask them for their phone number so that you can share the information about a favorite plumber that you have. If your child's friend's mother that you know likes staying on top of what's going on in her neighborhood, then you'll have an opportunity to get her email address, because you can provide monthly neighborhood nurture emails and information. Be able to provide value. See how the pieces are starting to fit together? That we're building the border of the puzzle, and now we're connecting the different pieces that go together. Another example of building this sphere of influence is to pull those casual relationships that you have into a little bit closer relationship. And this is what we mean by being proactive and personable about your communications. We've already talked about this a bit, and we went through your day. Now, as you start to look at everyday life, task, errands, you have the opportunity to get into a closer relationship. Usually this can be done with one or two more powerful questions. Do you play games on your phone while you're cheering on your kid's soccer team, or are you actually interacting with the other parents that are involved? Are you getting out of your comfort zone to be able to do some of these things? These individuals are not in the market right now. I understand that. Yet, if you're talking about a kid's soccer game, every single one of these individuals in 7 to 10 years or somewhere in between it are going to be looking at some sort of real estate needs. And it's not just the house that they currently own. It could also be great investment opportunities. And if you do this right, getting into your career at a younger basis, you could assist these individuals and the folks that they know time and time again over your career. You want to expand your sphere of influence? Join groups. Take up hobbies. It will help you mentally. It will help you with your time balance. It will help you to give back to the community. The purpose of business is to fund the perfect life. Real estate can be a demanding career. What career isn't when you're clocking in and clocking out? Yet having these different activities that you do, wearing your Keller Williams information or your branding information, or as I talked about, your name tag that you have of being able to be seen and not be a secret agent. You don't need to walk in and start throwing up real estate all over them. This is a relationship business that you're able to build these connections with, and people are most likely to do business with the folks that they like, know, and trust. Being purposeful in your conversations as well, of asking them, who do you know that I should know? That is words that work. That's a dialogue. I don't know if we're supposed to use the term scripts or not, yet that is a script that has worked for me as a professional. I was wondering, who else do you know that I should be in contact with? People will want to share. And if they don't have their immediate contact information right then, I appreciate you taking a moment to think about it. As a professional, I'm going to follow up with you and get their information. And then I can send, if I had a meeting like the pictures here, I can then send them a follow-up email. Hey, you mentioned this individual that's in here. I'd love to get their details. Maybe all three of us can get together sometime. That would help build and deepen the relationship. I'm building my business on people I know and the people they know. Do you know of anyone from family or friends, work, or your neighborhood, or a group you belong to is thinking of buying or selling a home or investing in real estate? I'd be pleased to be a resource for them. Does this sound a little wordy? It potentially is. This is where you come and you practice it. You do not need to recite this word for word. Hey, Sally. Appreciate connecting with you. I was wondering, while I have you on the phone, is there anyone else, say from work or your family or any of the groups that you belong to, that is potentially thinking of buying, selling, or investing in the next, say, 30 or 60 days? You know, I appreciate you taking, pause, listen. I appreciate you taking a moment to think about it. As a professional, I'm going to follow up to see who you think of in the next week or two. Appreciate your time. You hear me go through these quick and speak of these things quick, and I want you to picture, if you can, a football lineman when they're doing their drills. You sometimes see them go through it. Or the best example I can give is the cheerleaders or folks doing their dance routine, where you see them doing their cheer real quick. For me, as a practice, I go through these quick so that when I'm actually with somebody, I'm able to slow it down. I'm able to go through the steps and they don't think that I'm repeating. You just caught one of the practices that I've developed over the course of the years. You know, if you hear of someone that has a real estate need, could you keep me in mind and let me know right away? I'm going to drop you another email so that you have my contact information right there. Oh, yeah. Just send them right over to me, or if you'd like to make the introduction, either way works just fine for me. This is a page, let me go back. This is a page in your participant guide that I would highlight, bookmark. If I needed to, I might even print this one page off so that I would have the information to be able to go through. This is some of the best practices that we have of being able to build that particular database that you're going through. Whew. A lot of information, isn't it? There it is. Give me a review on this particular one. Hit like if you're seeing the video on YouTube. Send me a comment, or if you'd like to fill out a formal review at KWU Eval, here is the details and the information for you to do so. Encourage you, get involved with the activities that your office has with KW Cares and Red Day. If there is an event coming up soon for KW Next Gen, be on the lookout for that. This may be for myself, lead generation wise. I used KW Next Gen. I am an approved instructor, and I use that as an opportunity to reach out to families and individuals to be able to invite them to KW Next Gen events. Win-win or no deal. Gives me an opportunity to do that. A lot of ahas that we could have in that particular section, but I'm going to dive into, and let's go into some of the best practices with lead generation. With lead generation, some of the best practices are to be purposeful about tracking your lead source. Where are your lead sources coming from? Is it from your groups? Is it from your clubs? Is it from outreach that you did? And to be able to go through. Audit your lead sources. Diversify your database. This could be in different price ranges. This could be in different groups. This could be in different ways in which you look at. Not one lender that you have a relationship is going to be able to handle every loan that comes through. This is a form of diversity that we would be talking about, as well as different individuals, different income levels, etc. And most importantly, be consistent and build leads on a daily basis. If we go back to our participant guide, if we look at that, it has a system and it starts to talk about time blocking for lead generation, that you prepare and you have time to actually prepare with your mindset, with your practice, with putting your call list together. These would be blocks of time that you would have, and then there would be the time of actually taking the action and having the conversations. And then it would be having the time to actually put the information into KW Command and build your database by adding contacts or following up. If I looked at your calendar, whether it was a paper calendar or they have here an electronic calendar, would I see time blocks for preparing, taking action, and maintaining? In our daily practice and our daily success system, these are areas that we talk about. Doing your lead generation could open you up to other things that are going on regarding distractions. And so the One Thing book is a great guide for us, and we'll glean some of that information here. You see, lead generation is hands down, without a doubt, no competition, your number one most important thing that you have to do every single day. Therefore, you should mark off time to do it, and then you should protect that time so nothing else gets in the way. Build a bunker. Find somewhere to work that takes you out of the path of disruptions, takes you out of the path of interruptions. So where are you going to work from without distractions? Store provisions, have supplies, find some place where you're able to do that. Have your tissues, have your snacks so you don't get up because that trip to the coffee pot ends up taking not a minute or two, but then you get sidetracked and all of your time is gone from doing that. Sweep for minds. What that means is make sure that you turn off your phone. My phone during the course of me recording this is set to do not disturb so that I'm not going to have distractions that'll go here. If I need to turn off my screen right now is not on with text notifications. No social media is on. My email is not on at this particular time so I can go through this. And if I need to enlist support from other individuals in the house and let them know what I'm doing and be able to go through and say, could you help me out? Maybe I need to put something on the door that says I'm working on my one thing. I'm building a bigger future. Please do not disturb. These tips come from the book, The One Thing, authored by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. Aha time. When I went through those building a bunker and thinking about some of the best practices, what came to mind? What were some areas that you look at? What would you say your call to action is? Is it to go through the list of 15 different areas and start to identify who is missing from your sphere of influence? Are you going to expand and deepen some relationships of individuals that are already there? Maybe are you going to join a group or something new? Write this down in your guide that you have. Let me know if there's a particular aha that stood out to you. And not just the ahas that we're going through in this lesson, but overall your thinking ahas, the way that you feel about approaching this. Are you potentially having what feels like a bit of a breakdown and you need to refocus now that we've gotten into lead generation? Do you need to schedule a particular time with your productivity coach? Do you need to reach out to me and we talk a little bit more about a strategy like I've talked about before of getting a checkup from the neck up? Do you just need to take action? And do you need to maybe look at your tools and the systems and models and learn a little bit more about KW Command and how to work through those tools that you do have available? It's okay to admit that you might need a little assistance. That would be a great aha. All right, let's jump into our success system. Every single day that we're supposed to be working on this, you've watched this video, you're going to watch it for about an hour. You probably should be taking about 2 hours to be working on your conversations, your practice, your real play and role play. You should be adding contacts. You should be writing your notes, taking action. By this time, you should have already gone and bought the note cards so that you can start to do this and get postage and stamps. 10-5-1. Do you have a time on your schedule where you're starting to do that? And then work on your particular enrichments that you're going through, meaning you're listening to a podcast, you're reading an additional article. An enrichment right now might be getting out that list of 15, and for the next, say, 30 days, adding people to that list every single day from your memory joggers that you go through. All your communications need to be done in compliance with the Do Not Call list, TCPA. Check with your local office for details. I engage in every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in relationship with me. I want to focus on this for just a second, and I hope you hear it coming through in these presentations. I'm doing this from a level of contribution. We may have never met. Either way is just fine. You are important, and you have an opportunity based upon the principles of lead generation to build a business and to reach your goals. And these tools are here to contribute to your success. The writers that did this within KWU, when Gary Keller and his writing team get together and come up with these systems and models, when they interview top agents the way they're working, and then all the way to myself, you notice I've called myself a teacher, a coach, a facilitator, however it is, I'm a contributor and I want to help contribute to your success. And if you're feeling that, drop me a note, hit subscribe, let me know so that we can deepen the relationship further. That's my level of contribution there. So, daily success system, taking action. Make sure that you do your role playing. Make sure that you're putting together your conversation list as who you're going to talk to. Actually do your lead generation. It says 45 minutes. If you can start to stretch that, it's like going to the gym. If you can stretch out your time where you're actually having the conversations for 45 minutes and then an hour, then an hour and a half, and then 2 hours, your business will grow to the degree of time that you block off for this particular activity. And then do your updates, update your contacts, follow up and follow through. Got a success that you've come through 5 days into it, maybe, or 5 sessions. Maybe you're already working with a buyer. Maybe you're already working with the seller. Let me know. Drop me a note. Put a comment in there. Keep track of your daily success system as we get ready for the next portion on it, the next session, which is session 6 of growing your database. We're taking action. We're getting into this. I wish you nothing but success. Lead generation. You have just been handed the key that it took me over a year when I first got into real estate to even hear about these principles of lead generation, and you're already being provided with them every single session. We're through 5 sessions. Congratulations of the 20. Keep digging, keep dreaming, and make it a great day.